Hi, good evening everyone. So my name is Muhammad Amirul Aizat.
My name is Wen Jing.
My name is Khai Xuan.
My name is Jun Wei.
My name is Jun. We are from BEEB1013.
So my group is choose a topic of GDP. So I will to start now. So what is GDP? GDP is gross domestic product. Is a key economic indicator that represent the total monetary value of goods and services. Within country borders in a specific time period. It is a comprehensive measure of nation overall economic activity and is often used to assess and compare the economic performance of different countries. So the GDP can calculate using three main approach. So the first one is production approach, second one is expenditure approach, and third is the income approach. So Wen Jing, what is the factor of the what is the factor GDP operation is decreased?
Okay, thank you, Aizat. Let me explore the factor that influence GDP in more detail. They can be broadly categorized in four main components. The first one is consumption. Consumer spending is a significant driver of economic activity. When people spend money on goods and services, it stimulates demand, production, and employment, positively impacting our GDP. For example, the factor influencing consumption can be included in disposable income and interest rate. And the second component is investment. Business investment in capital goods such as machinery and technology can contribute to economic growth. Increased investment can lead to higher productivity, and finally, our GDP will be increased. And the key factor can be affecting investment is interest rate and the technology advancement. And the third component is government spending. Government expenditure on goods and service infrastructure project and social program is directly contribute to GDP, and factor influencing government spending can divide into fiscal policy and public investment. And the last component is net export. Net export are the difference between a country export and import. A positive net export contributes to GDP growth, where a negative net export can be a drag on economic growth. The factor influencing net export include exchange rate, global demand, trade policy. And Khai Xuan, what can you tell me the challenge that our country face?
So, I will explore more detail about the challenge and problem using GDP as a source indicator. So, using GDP as a key economic measure is posed with difficulties. Each of these problems have a significant impact of constants of relying solely on GDP. So, first one is the GDP tends to affect market transactions while ignoring the significant contributions of non-market activity, unpaid labor, community service, and sustained farming, all important components of an economy, are sometimes overlooked in GDP calculations. As a result, these omissions lead to an incomplete and portrayal of country economic health when it's failed to capture the full range of productive activities. Secondly, while GDP provides the aggregate measures of a country's economic production, it ignores wealth distributions among its citizens. A high GDP does not imply equitable wealth distributions. Income can occur as a result of concentrated wealth among specific groups of society, affecting social and potentially impending sustained development goals. Lastly, GDP does not account for the environment of economic activities because of our oversized economy that cause environment degradations such as pollution or resources depletion. Many contribute positively to GDP. Ignoring the environment impact of economy endangers long-term sustenance and the well-being for the future generations. A more doses assessment of the country well-being, society equality, and environmentally sustain require alternative to GDP, such as the GPI and the FDI. So, Jun Wei, can you tell me more about the impact for GDP?
Thank you, Khai Xuan. The impact of GDP is possible unemployment. If GDP is lower than expected, it means that the economy is not producing enough for the labor force. This can lead to higher unemployment rates among workers who are willing and able to work but cannot find suitable jobs. The second one is lower inflation rate. If GDP is lower than expected, it means that there is less demand for goods and service in the economy. This can lead to lower inflation rates among price of goods and service. Inflation is a general increase in price over time that reduce the purchasing power of money. And the last one is less strain on environmental resource. If GDP is lower than the expect, it means that there is less pressure of the natural resources such as land, water, energy, mineral, and so on that are used to produce goods and service. This can lead to less strength or environmental resource that may become scarce or degrade over time due to over-exploitation or pollution. Jim, what is can you compare with another country about the GDP?
Okay, thank you, Jun Wei. Okay, let me talk about comparing GDP in Malaysia with another country. Okay, first one I want to talk about methodology of comparing GDP. Okay, the first one, the methodology used in the nominal GDP. Okay, nominal GDP reflects the value of goods and services produced within a country border and current market price. Okay, the second one, GDP per capita. Calculating GDP per capita help in understanding the average economic output per person in the country. It's useful measure to compare the standard of a living among the country. Okay, the last one is GDP growth rate. Okay, analyzing the GDP growth rate over several years allow for an assessment of the economic growth trajectory of each country. Okay, let me talk about the analysis of GDP trend among the country. Okay, first one I talk about the high-income countries such as the United States and Germany. Okay, United States get the 23.32 trillion in the USD in the GDP, and the German get the 4.26 trillion in the GDP. Okay, now I talk about the developing of countries such as like Malaysia, Singapore. Okay, but Malaysia get the 3,736 GDP, and Singapore get the 3,976 in GDP. So among the four countries, United States get the higher GDP among the country, which is 23.32 trillion, and Malaysia get the lower GDP among the country, which is 3,736 GDP in USD. Okay, calculate in USD. So the second one I talk about GDP per capita. Okay, I talk the high income country first, like the United States and Germany. Okay, United States get the 70,248.63 GDP per capita in the USD, and Germany get the 51,203.55 GDP per capita in calculate in USD, and the Malaysia get the 11,109.26 GDP per capita, and the Singapore get the 72,794 GDP per capita in currently in USD. So among the four countries, the Singapore get the higher GDP per capita, and the Malaysia get the lower GDP per capita in the among country. The last one I talk about GDP growth rate. So the Malaysia get the 3.1%, and the Singapore get the 7.6%, and the United States get the 5.5%. and the German get the 2.6%. Okay, among the four countries, the Singaporean get the higher GDP growth rate, and the German get the lower GDP growth rate among the four countries. Okay, so that's all for me. Okay, Aizat, can you give the solution how the solving GDP issue in Malaysia?
Okay, thank you, Jim, for the question. So guys, there are some strategy or method can improving the GDP growth. So the first one is investment in infrastructure. So this can stimulate economic activity, attract investment, and enhance productivity. And the second one is education and workforce development. So these two methods can invest in education and skill development, create a more capable and adaptable workforce, which is essential for innovation, productivity, and economic growth. So the third one is research and development, or R&D. So this method that encourages innovation through R&D activity can lead to technological investment, increased productivity, and the development of the new industry. So the last one is tax and regulatory policies. So this including reducing corporate tax and streamlining regulation can encourage business investment and stimulate economic growth. So in the conclusion, I think GDP or the growth domestic product is very crucial issue. So the government need to take more attention to solving this issue. So I think that's all from my group.
Okay.
Thank you.